Okay, you guys, this is me. I'm Christine, and I'm the brainiac that was on the internet last night and that came up with the coconut oil and the rake. This is Harry, and he's a curly coated, and he has, when his coat is not groomed, it is so tight and thick with undercoat. I groomed him last night, so or I bathed him last night. Don't look at it. The parents don't want him clipped. He's just the way he is. Anyway, so when without it, you would kind of stop here, and you'd have to, go like this to hold the skin. And I decided just to go in and get some coconut oil, room temperature, and I just went like this. This is all that it took. I didn't put a whole bunch of goopy shit on. Sorry. And it just drops out. He has those little hairs that when you catch them, it really bothers them because they're those tight curls. These just go, it just goes through backwards, forwards. His ears are really tight and really greasy at first. And now they're not. And that's all from and underneath, dogs kind of are sensitive to when you pull, it just glides. And a lot of you asked, how much do I use? Well, I could feel it was pulling a little bit, so I'm just going to put just a little touch on. The rest goes on the back of my hand for moisturizer, and it just glides through. And this guy he's on kibble, so his skin is a little bit drier. Even my hand, I can just touch it. His skin looks so much better. Now just see, okay, here, that pulls. So I'm just going to put a little bit more on. Just a little bit. And it just goes right through. This is a sensitive area for dogs. And back up in here, I know he's very sensitive to that. He used to come right around with his head, even though I don't pull a lot. Now he doesn't even care. It just glides through, and as you can see, it kind of makes a nice finish. I used it both before the bath, and I used it afterwards. This guy had a tremendous amount of undercoat. It just covered this whole room, and look at this coat this morning. And that's all from just using a little bit of oil. So I use it on my comb. I haven't used it on my brush yet, but I cannot see that it wouldn't. You just have to just go like this with your already oily fingers. I mean, it just glides through so nicely, but what I didn't realize was going to happen was that it was going to actually take this undercoat out. I thought it might slip right on through, but it just doesn't. So this is why I'm so amazed at how well it's working. Now, before I put this on the internet to you guys, I wanted to try it on a bunch of different dogs just to see, am I going to get a greasy coat? And you know what? There's just nothing. There's no grease. There's just nothing. So I think that this can really be a great tool for us. You could even use it on this. The other thing I found is that on a short-haired dog, it was like a Shar-Pei mix, so it had a lot of that flying hair that is just everywhere. And I found that it doesn't fly up as much, which we all talk about, how the hair flies up in our nose all the time, and then how do we fix that? How do we stop breathing it? I just found that it just didn't do that. with this oil. So, the big combs, there, it's caught right there now. You can't see it, but it's kind of caught in that area. So I'm going to go back to my oil. Sorry. Came right through. So it just took a very little bit. So I mean, guys, we could all just play with it and see what happens. If you don't feel confident about, see, it's stuck a little bit. If you don't feel confident about, is it going to make your customer's dog greasy, then, you know, experiment on a dog of your own and see what happens. I'm really happy about it. And bottom line is, if you don't have to use it after the bath. You can use it just before, and it just comes right out. And even if it doesn't, in these types of coats, it's only going to help. It's not going to hurt, it's only going to help. So that's it. Happy grooming. Tasha.